The following video is presented by Audience on Demand, programmatic advertising from Publicis Media. Find out more on audienceondemand.de.
We have the Senior Director Audience and Programmatic Solutions from Yahoo, Dora Michail.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having a solo woman on the stage, allowing me to speak English. Attempting to speak German would not be pretty for any of us. So I'm going to talk about data-driven marketing in a device-agnostic world. To do that, I think it's worth setting the scene. 90 years ago, the first demonstration of a TV screen took place in a dusty attic in London's Soho. And today, screens are everywhere. They're a fundamental part of our day-to-day daily life. At Yahoo, we did some research into the world of screens in 2016, focusing on how people relate to screens both functionally and emotionally, and secondly, how screens can be used to deliver seamless moments in the context of how users of those screens are operating, their behavior, etc. And so if you think about that from the perspective of the different screens, on each of these screens there is an example of a seamless experience or moment. So you've got the notification on a watch at the airport. You've got a music app matching the tempo of a song to your exercise. And last one, in-game betting during halftime of a sports game. So just different ways in which these different moments exist across our screens. We're accustomed to flicking between these screens. So you will feel very familiar when I describe this situation where you're watching TV, but you're holding your phone, maybe your tablet is next to you. So if something is uninteresting on one screen, you can probably find something that is interesting on another. And it's very seamless in terms of a user's usage of those screens. So again, we did some research. We did an online survey. We asked respondents a series of trade-off questions where they were asked to select the best and worst screens for functions and emotions. So firstly, we see that the TV screen was thought to be the best way in which a user is entertained and informed. Secondly, the laptop is primarily a source of information, so particularly associated with shopping and research, and inspiring as well, sort of through the usage of your laptop, being able to just discover things, so used for discovery. And then thirdly, the mobile, which is very much the screen of our day-to-day life. So much of what happens in our day-to-day life is done via our mobile, to remember things, to have our to-do list, to keep in touch with people. So this screen captures those experiences, allow them to be just shared and collaborated with. So to help us understand better how people engage with screens in different contexts, we conducted interviews across the following activities. So socializing, exercising, shopping, relaxing, and traveling. Having observed behaviors where respondents were both positive and open to commercial moments, and had a high permission to engage. So we identified 3 of the 5 activities where consumers were open to commercial moments and had a high permission to engage with advertising. And those are the 3 that you see in the top right. So shopping, relaxing, and traveling are the activities at which users are willing to be advertised to. And actually, not only are they willing to be advertised to, but there's this feeling that they can be that advertising can enhance the primary task. So think about when you're shopping and you're browsing through a store. you will use your mobile to research the price in the store versus the price that you can find online. So being able to deliver advertising that is part of that experience is very useful. Similar is when traveling. So being able to understand, even when commuting to work or commuting to any place, being able to, for example, deliver coupons or some other incentive to attract a user into a store. On the other hand, then, socializing and exercising, again, it feels very familiar, but if I'm socializing, if I'm in a bar and I'm using my mobile, it's because I'm probably showing my friend something interesting, an interesting article, a new app. If I'm delivered an ad, I'm going to swipe the ad away. I will not engage with that ad at that time because I'm using my mobile for something very specific. Like in the gym, if I'm on my mobile in the gym, I'm probably using my app for to follow my exercise regime. I don't want to be advertised in that moment. So it becomes very important to understand the context through which a user is using their mobile in order to improve the targeting and the marketing that we are able to do for them. So because users are in this constant life cycle of consumerism, from branding to awareness, consideration and engagement, conversion, affinity and advocacy, and round, understanding the value of that user at any given time, understanding the context that they are in terms of their browsing behavior, but actually also understanding literally their location, where they are, in a gym, in a bar, at a shop. Being able to understand that really supports the delivery of our advertising and enhances our ability to market to users. And it's because of that I very much stand by this idea, which is that the future of our industry, the future of digital marketing, is audience-centric and device and format agnostic. That's very much a statement through which I feel we can all probably get behind. So, with an audience-centric approach, then, what do we really mean? Ultimately, I think it can be described in three different ways. Having the need to have deep and unique insights about a user in terms of both their interests and their intentions is really key. Being able to do that across device is the most important thing, considering the way that a user behaves and the multifunctional way in which they use different devices, like we described at the beginning. And then being able to engage with those users based on what you know about them, based on what device they are using, but also what format that they are most likely to respond to, whether that is video or native or display. So all of these insights that we talk about here, the way in which they can be captured or utilized and sourced is incredibly important based on the intention of the user. So the behavior like searches, so what keywords are they searching for? What content are they consuming? How are they engaging with their apps on their mobile phone? What are they doing in their apps? Are they browsing? Are they buying? How long are they spending in their apps? What commercial receipts are they receiving into their inbox? What are they buying? So what do we know about their purchase behavior and their location? And on top of that, of course, the bread and butter, the foundations of what we need to know about them, their demographics, which we can get from registration data. So it is a cross-device world. We can all agree with that. Time spent on mobile has surpassed time spent on desktop, yet desktop remains the device of choice for research and converting for our consumers. That leads to common issues with regard to over-delivering to users on desktop when they should be delivered to more on their mobile. It leads to a lack of proper measurement because often users will not be exposed to advertising on their mobile enough. and then we may miss an opportunity in which to deliver an ad to them. And also being able to tie the ad exposure to the conversion. So being able to do that across device becomes incredibly important. So how do you do that? How do we do that at Yahoo? We have developed a cross-device identity graph to be able to capture those deeper insights. So data from Yahoo Mail, from our Flurry analytics platform, from Tumblr, and across our many other properties. We have mapped over 400 million users across the world, across more than one device. In the UK, I've got the stat here, which is 85% and above. In Germany, it's 60% coverage. Obviously, and you guys will know this better than me, but the inhibitors that we have, of course, are to do with data privacy, and obviously everything we do in Germany is aligned with what we are allowed to do, which is why we're not able yet to push beyond the 60% mark in Germany, but why we have achieved more than 85% in the UK and in the US and many other countries. But these are things that we work with and we work towards. So how do we do that cross-device coverage? Two ways: deterministic, logged-in users, which is very easy across Yahoo Mail. There are not many players who have got the scale that Yahoo does. Of course, Google, of course, Facebook, but we have the scale in which to capture all of that registration data for the deterministic side. But that's still not enough. So then we have the probabilistic opportunity. Some people consider the probabilistic or the inferred model as less accurate or less good. What I would argue is that there are definitely assumptions that you can make. If you think about device IDs and Wi-Fi signals, when I leave my house every morning, I have my laptop, my tablet, and my mobile with me. I've left my house, and those three devices were connected to my Wi-Fi at home. When I get to the office, those same three devices all connect to my Wi-Fi signals at the office. It's very safe to assume that those three devices belong to one person. And that's why we can rely on the accuracy of the modeling that we have done here on the probabilistic side, and how we can create scale in the way that I've described. So what's the point then of cross-device? Targeting. Better targeting, if you can do it across devices and you know the same user across those devices. Performance, if you can capture that user journey through their devices, you can ensure that you're convincing them with the right targeting and advertising. And of course, measurement. That measurement piece is key because if you're not tracking properly on a mobile, you won't know the effect of your brand and ad exposure. So a couple of case studies to show you. So this a case where we exposed this campaign to all three devices. So it was a cross-device campaign. And we compared that to a PC-only campaign. What we found is that there was an 88% uplift in the conversion rate on the three-screen campaign versus the PC-only campaign. So whilst many conversions are not happening on a mobile, they're still happening on the PC, the ability to expose your user to brand advertising on the mobile really enhances the conversion rate that you will see on the PC, and that's the point here. One last case study is with regard to an online retailer here who wanted to track users across devices and better understand where their conversions were coming from. 87% of impressions were served to desktop devices, but those impressions only drove 80% of the conversions. The takeaway, again, being a similar point, which is there is an opportunity to do more on mobile to enhance your conversions. So being able to find your users wherever they are across all formats, display, native, and video, across all devices, tablet, mobile, and PC, is what is really key. But what we have found when running on mobile, which is very much the point that I've been making here, which shows the benefit of the conversion uplift, is that by doing native advertising on a mobile, you really get to see a great experience for the user. What we know is that 3 times more time and attention is paid to native ads than to traditional display ads, and 23% higher ad quality perception generated from longer engagement with native experiences. So thinking about the way that you advertise on a mobile beyond the display banner, looking at the native opportunity, you really see goodwill from the consumer based on their engagement. Similar here, we saw 114% lift in unaided brand awareness when using native advertising, and a 3x increase in brand-related searches after a user was exposed to a native ad. And so from my final slide, I will say that, as I mentioned before, the future of digital marketing is audience-centric and device and format agnostic, and with deep insights, cross-device capabilities, and multi-format targeting, there is a great opportunity to continue to improve and enhance our marketing plans. Thank you.